carriers, there you go, and also taking out that potential drop as well. So nice play there from EGGrubby, kind of anticipating where that drop was going, but he really doesn't want to engage here because these Vikings will take out a lot of those carriers given the chance. That being said though, carriers do have a total of 14 range, so if you use the interceptors and then move back, you can keep the carriers pretty safe while the interceptors do most of the damage. EGGrubby at this point really needs to get this base up and running mineral-wise, otherwise he's going to fall behind in the mineral race, especially since this base, well actually this base is almost mined out, this base is nice up and running, and also this base needs to be up and running as well. Grubby now moving into position with this mothership as well, so no doubt he's going to be moving these units up here, can walk the Colossi up and can blink the Stalkers up as well. If he wants to, he can also mass recall the entirety up into this base, but taking out the production facilities of aAaSirenS. We have a lone missile turret here trying to defend this, but a lot of Vikings here are going to be trying to pick off those, blinking up, trying to get a few pot shots off on those Vikings, and the Stalkers actually do a massive amount of damage to those Vikings, so nice the use there, and a factory does go down as well as a barracks. So that's not too bad an exchange for EGGrubby at this point, and I'm getting some weird FPS issues. I'm not so sure why. Maybe it's because of the intenseness of this game, but at the same time, what? There was two, and then now there is only one. There was two, and there is one. Yeah. So I didn't notice that go. I'm sure someone did, but I didn't, so I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So, yeah, where are we at? Where are we at? Where are we at? Let's have a check of these upgrades. I see what's happening. This cloak is making my PC lag. That sucks balls. Oh well, no worries. We have 3 weapons upgrades on these carriers, as well as 2 armor upgrades and 1 shield upgrade. But at the same time, there's not much going on. Nobody's making any moves. What is going on? They really need to make something happen. And so many missile turrets guarding these barracks, and just a massive, massive amount of barracks. And somebody really needs to make something happen. They need to. There is no reason aAaSirenS couldn't be doing drops across the entire map, just taking advantage of the mobility of this kind of army, but he's just not at all. He really needs to. These Colossi taking a lot of damage, doing a lot of damage to these missile turrets, just allowing these carriers to get in there and do the damage that they can do, which is extreme to say the least. A nice scan going off there, going to be taking out that observer that was there, and oh my god, that the FPS issues that this mothership is causing. This is ridiculous. I'm actually going to start and restart because this is insane. Okay, we are at high settings. Hopefully this will make a little bit of a difference. I'm really hoping it does, because before I was on like 5 FPS because of the cloaking of the mothership on all these units. So we have a lot of these interceptors now going to be taking out these turrets, and they just absolutely rip through them once again. The DPS of interceptors is insane, considering the DPS of carriers is insane, considering the fact that every upgrade increases the damage of a carrier, an interceptor, by 2. So because they get 2 attacks, so it's just absolutely mental. A ghost in here now, EMPing that mothership, so really good use of EMP there, making sure that the mothership can't actually get any kind of vortex off or anything. But at this point, with this unit combination, this Marauder Marine ball, there is no way that aAaSirenS can beat this ball at all. He really needs to either do something with these units or sacrifice some of these units and tech up. But I really feel that he is way too far behind in the tech race now, and that Grubby is going to be able to clinch this no problem. We will have to see what happens, as this game is far from over. I cannot believe it's far from over, but apparently it is. And now we have a lot of Vikings going to be coming up here trying to take out a lot of these. A nice EMP going off on those units, but EMP is not as effective against Colossi as you would think, as their shields are a lot stronger than the EMP would let you realise. So a nice scan going down there, going to be seeing all these units, and he is getting infantry armor level 3 and ship weapons level 2. But again, I really don't see why he's investing so much in this infantry. If he were to This, you cannot beat this ball with infantry as a Terran. You cannot. I know people will be saying like, oh, Protoss endgame overpowered or whatever, but you just can't beat this with Marine Marauder. And if you're gonna stick to tier 1 units, then that is just not what they're designed for in this position at all. Another scan going down there, going to be picking off us an SCV. I'm pretty sure that the SCV was quite unhappy to be killed, but now 2 more sensor towers have been put in place for aAaSirenS, so he's going to know all the movements of the player, and now picking off a few of those, but a big storm trying to go down on these Vikings, and if a storm lands, oh my god, that did a lot of damage to those Vikings, and he's just waiting for them to come along so that he can put a huge storm down on them. With 2 storms, one or 2 storms will pretty much ravage this Viking ball, and just going to be picking at things now again with these Colossi. Very, very cautious play by both players here. He's quite happy to just, oh, a nice EMP going off on those once again, getting rid of all the energy on that High Templar, and as well as the energy once again on the mothership. So now just upgrading to shields level 3. These units are also on 3-3, but all these units here are on 3-3, apart from the 2-3 of the ground units. But the big damage dealer here is really the carriers. The carriers are just going to rip through anything that does happen. I'm pretty sure by the end of this game we're just going to see an A move from EGGrubby and just a complete vanquish of aAaSirenS at this point. aAaSirenS really needs to do something. aAaSirenS has been so passive this entire game, and he's investing in missile turrets constantly. He's just replenishing missile turrets that are being made to die again and again and again, which is just not how you play this game at this level especially. Really need to make a transition, just which he is not doing at this point. Blinking down with these again, just killing off more missile turrets in order to be able to kind of just fend off any kind of anti-air that aAaSirenS does have, and it's just getting a bit too much at this point. Going to be EMPing these once again, EMPing the mothership constantly. Nice storm on those ghosts that were indeed cloaked, but he really needs an observer in this mix, and he is indeed getting an observer out, and we do have armor ground level 3 coming up for EGGrubby, since there's pretty much nothing else he can spend his money on at this point. Grubby asking how much money does aAaSirenS have, and he has 3k and 5k gas, and you've got to remember that this is in a tournament, ladies and gents, so pretty friendly stuff going on at this point. So just exchanging a bit of information, and neither player really wanting to budge at this point. As I said, they really both need to get these island bases a bit more up and running, and they're just chilling out, cruising. I'm going to take a drink. I'm going to take a few seconds break. So we do have, oh wow, the observers even have the speed upgrade. That's fantastic. All the upgrades researched. No upgrades there. There is hallucination. He really needs to get hallucination. No upgrades there. No upgrades there. No upgrades there. Every single research that you can possibly get as Protoss has been taken, apart from the almighty important one, hallucination. And notably, he doesn't actually have any sentries in this mix. Oh my god, but a huge volley coming in there from those Vikings. I'm really not even sure why he's running away to a certain extent from 4 Stalkers with those Vikings, because those Vikings could absolutely punish this force. And actually, now that I think about it, if aAaSirenS were to sacrifice a lot of this and just mass up on Vikings, this force would have a pretty hard time dealing with so many Vikings, especially if they were spread out. If they were clumped up, these High Templar would have a field day storming them. But if they were spread out, then it would be hell on earth for EGGrubby at this point, as Vikings would hard counter pretty much everything here. Not so necessarily the carriers, but they do a lot of damage to carriers regardless if used properly. Lasering a few of those units there, especially with this observer helping out. And, oh, aAaSirenS there, almost catching a zealot. Ooh, that could have been crucial, but indeed wasn't. So, still mining. No, not mining. Oh, a few Stalkers coming up here, going to be trying to take out that Ghost Academy. Good play here by EGGrubby. He realises that these Ghosts could be a particular threat, and will he take it out before these Vikings get there? In fact, he's just gonna sacrifice it. it doesn't really matter. No, he's going to be able to take out that no problem, and getting a few pot shots off on those, but now blinking with these stalkers, trying to take out as many Vikings as possible. And there is a planetary fortress here. When did that appear? Oh, I see. He must have flown. Ah, that planetary fortress that I missed from here must have flown over here before it morphed in. Fantastic. So this Ghost Academy is going to burn down at this point, and sending a few Marauders to deal with those guys, otherwise they're going to end up ravaging the whole base for whatever reason. And aAaSirenS just sitting here, just sitting, just chilling out. Yeah. All this chrono boost not spent by EGGrubby. Oh, what's going on? Oh my god. And he's pretty content to just sit around once again. 3-3 on everything. I want to see Hallucinate being researched. If he doesn't research Hallucinate by the end of this game, I'm going to be an angry beaver. And what people don't realise is that this replay, uncompressed, is going to be about 200 gig in size, because that's how Fraps works. The insanity of Fraps is insane. That's the only way I can describe it. So, these Vikings just patrolling around now, and I'm pretty sure whoever wanted to watch this game for an hour and a half and is going to listen to me for an hour and a half is regretting it right now, because this is odd. This is odd, to say the least. I'm not going to say it's a bad game, as the people at GLHF casting did during assembly, which was bad professionalism in my opinion. However, it is a very passive game, one which could have been resolved either much earlier by some kind of aggression from either player, or some kind of transition from the Terran. I really, once again, don't think that this is the way to go. Building an armory now in the strangest of places, as well as a engineering bay. So interesting choices. Hopefully he's going for all the upgrades as well. Ooh, pardon me, a bit of a hiccup. And it just seems like that this is going to be going on forever and ever and ever until I die. This will never end. I'm pretty sure no other caster's ever going to cast this, because it's just ridiculous and long and maybe pointless. I don't know. But a Phoenix trying to be produced here and it not being produced, and EGGrubby is angry about that Phoenix not being produced because it's bad. But a drop in the main of EGGrubby, even though it's not really the main anymore because it's got nothing of use apart from some of these constructing structures, but taking out a few of these stalkers that are here. And he's going to need to send something back in order to be able to deal with this. He's going to try and take out as many pylons at this point, trying to underpower as many of these things as he possibly can do. But a Phoenix coming in, going to be chasing away that Medivac and picking up a Marauder. Not the best of choices, but he could have taken out the Medivac to stop the retreat of the Marauders. But it seems like he's quite content with just doing what he's doing. So, a bit of a successful drop, taking out a few pylons there by aAaSirenS. But all in all, he's going to really want to come back here with this Zealot, and he does indeed come back here with this Zealot. But this Marauder... Come on, final confrontation. Come on, come on. No, no, don't kill the pilot, no! This Marauder and this Zealot are in cohorts with one another, and they believe that the EGGrubby is not worthy of controlling them. And wow, a Templar going into no man's land here, going to be running past these high, missile turrets, and missile turrets indeed giving vision of that observer and do take it down pretty quickly. So again, I would really like to see... What is this mothership just doing in the middle of nowhere? I would really like to see aAaSirenS do more drops. He could do drops in every location and really screw with EGGrubby, but he decides not to. He has so much banked right now. There's no reason that he couldn't actually just use a lot of these units and then replenish them really quickly. A lot of Vikings out. We do have this Templar Archives coming down once again for Grubby. Did the first one die? It must have done. But I'm not so sure why he's getting the Templar Archives, or where, in fact. Where is that Templar Archives? I'm going to find you. There it is. So, odd choice of getting a Templar Archives, especially when he has all the upgrades from it. Oh, but then again, actually, it did go down to those Marauders now that I think about it, and then he couldn't make High Templar, which is really bad. So that is why he's getting the Templar Archives, and the buildings also have +3 shields, so that's all good. Indeed. So, these Vikings, once again, just chilling out, and it seems like aAaSirenS is just not doing much at all. This base almost mined out, and this base is indeed almost mined out. A new Ghost Academy is up for aAaSirenS on the island, And these two players at this point are probably quite tired of the fact that this is going on for so long, sending in a few of these SCVs in order to be sacrificed for the greater good. And I'm not sure what the point in blinking was, because they were coming to die anyway. But it doesn't matter. So, not much to say right now. Who wants to know about my life? No, actually, I didn't think anyone did. We do have a bit of a movement here from EGGrubby. He's just trying to pick his places, trying to whittle down the money of aAaSirenS, and indeed, to a certain degree, Grubby is doing by just taking out as many missile turrets as he possibly can do. But once again, I really do think that this ball of units could just steamroller over the Terran force, but not so much to a certain degree, as now there are a lot of Vikings in play, so many so that actually a few storms could take them out, but again they would do a lot of damage to this force if they were given the chance, even just for a brief moment of time. I'm sort of regretting wanting to cast this now. I thought, yeah, it'll be great. It is entertaining, but my voice is going to die, and then I'm not going to be able to speak all tomorrow, and I'll need to drink lots of soup. Soup, that's a good idea. Soup, soup, soup. So this mothership does have enough energy now, and a few Vikings coming to try and get a pot shots, and almost killing that Colossi. 4 HP left on that Colossus, even. And now the Colossus coming in to try and wreak havoc on these missile turrets. And indeed taking them out once again, banking up to almost 10,000. We have 7,000 minerals banked for EGGrubby, whilst we only have 6,000 banked for aAaSirenS. He really wants to get... Oh my god, if he could vortex those Vikings and then storm them, that would be absolutely amazing. I think that's what he's trying to do. I think aAaSirenS realizes it as well, but that would be absolutely fantastic if he could get that done, because they would just die in an instant, and that would be amazing. That would be GG right there, absolutely 100% GG. Observer spotting a few of those, and the Vikings just poking their nose in, trying to kill as much as they can. A nice feedback on that Ghost, preventing it from doing any kind of EMP action on this mothership, and this is really the epicenter of what is going on right now. There is nothing else going on other than these Colossi trying to pick holes in the defenses of the Terran. Moving up with those, getting a lot of damage off on those Colossi. In fact, one Colossi just completely fell from what I saw. Nice storm, but actually not a nice storm, as it didn't do much at all, so pretty pointless. And blinking up with yet another Stalker, trying to get a few pot shots off, sending a few more orders to deal with that, and cleverly so, as sending in anything else could mean bad days for aAaSirenS. And I really want to see, really want to see a a Vortex go off on these units. Oh, trying to get him with the Vortex, but he did realise that that Vortex was coming, and indeed he does move back from it. He does still have energy for another Vortex, and all these Ghosts getting ripped apart there. So that Vortex was very, very close, and again, as I said before, if he does get a Vortex off on these Vikings, that's going to spell GG for aAaSirenS, as these are the only things he has to combat this menacing air force. So just poking in and out with these Stalkers, getting a few shots off here, just constantly making aAaSirenS spend money, whereas aAaSirenS really isn't making him spend money at all. He could have got a bit of a Vortex off there, since the Vikings were there for so long. Just blinking in and out with these Stalkers, doing great harassment with these Stalkers, and it's a really nice lure trying to get the units over there in order to be able to just kind of get that... Oh, nice feedback on that medivac. That just got pummeled, and trying to bring them in now. Going to be trying to get a Vortex, does get a Vortex off, but really, what's the point? Oh my god, flying in, taking a lot of these units in here, and these units actually coming around now in order to be able to try and kill as much as possible. And all these Vikings at this point really in a bad position. Nice EMP on those Colossi. In fact, that wasn't an EMP. What am I on about? What on earth's going on? And but the mothership does get taken down, and now all these carriers are left alone against these Vikings. And wow, that was a huge engagement and a half. But a lot of these Vikings have been taken down, but at the same time most of the Colossus have been taken down as well, and all these... A planetary fortress has gone down from the ground force of Grubby, but a lot of these Vikings are now just wailing away at these carriers and have taken out most of the Air Force. So Grubby really needs to re-macro up at this point. It's 76 food to 83. Pretty even exchanges, warping in a few stalkers there to try and chase down these Vikings, but there's still so many Vikings. Oh, but massive, massive amounts of area effect damage done by those Archons on those Vikings, as well as a nice storm. So Grubby really needs to macro up. He's got so much in the bank, but he's not macroing. He really needs to macro. What are you doing, Grubby? Come on, come on, come on. And really investing. What on earth just happened? He's just like, oh my god, he queued up like the money just dropped. It was like at 6,000 and now it's at nothing because he just queued up so many carriers, and that is what's going to make the difference in this game.